ABC News, I'm Ian Burrows. Cabinet Minister Matt Canavan says the former Prime Minister Tony Abbott's comments about budget repair aren't helpful for the government. Mr Abbott has called for a big new push on budget repair ahead of the last sitting week for the year and suggested the coalition revisit some of his 2014 policies. But Senator Canavan says the government needs to focus on the plan they already have.
What we need to do is continue to convince the crossbenchers in the Senate, continue to get the wider public support for that. That's what will pass those plans. Raising any particular ideas aren't helpful in that regard because we need to get the Parliament's support.
There have been mixed responses from the United States President and his successor, President-elect Donald Trump, over the death of Cuban revolutionary leader Fidel Castro. The BBC's Aleem Maqbool reports.
While Barack Obama talked simply of history recording and judging the enormous impact of Fidel Castro on the people and the world around him, Donald Trump said Castro had a legacy of firing squads, theft, unimaginable suffering, poverty, and the denial of fundamental human rights. Over the last year, Donald Trump has at various points talked of approving of the moves towards normalizing relations between Cuba and the US. But then, towards the end of his campaign, he became much more hardline, saying he would reverse the decisions made by his predecessor.
And the US President-elect Donald Trump has described an impending recount of votes in the state of Wisconsin as a scam. He says even Hillary Clinton has accepted the result of the election. Mr Trump scored a narrow victory in Wisconsin, but the Greens party has formally requested that the result be scrutinised for any signs of irregularities. 3 women aged in their 70s and 80s have serious injuries after being pushed onto train tracks in Melbourne's east by a knife-wielding man. James Hancock reports.
The attack was recorded by security cameras. Police say a 46-year-old man got off a city-bound train at Glen Huntly station about 11 o'clock this morning carrying a kitchen knife. He stabbed a woman's handbag, causing the knife to break before he attacked 5 women. Sergeant Jason Venturoni says 3 of the victims, aged 81, 81 and 75, were pushed onto the tracks and taken to hospital with serious injuries.
There is suspected fractures. Possible hip fractures and head injuries.
The man was arrested and is being questioned by police.
Queensland Ambulance say a woman who fell from a trapeze at a circus in Brisbane wasn't seriously hurt. The 35-year-old was performing at Cirque du Soleil when it happened around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Ambulance supervisor Matt Green says she's very lucky.
A 35-year-old lady who's had a fall performing at the Cirque du Soleil. We understand the height somewhere between 3 and 5 metres. She's landed on her head and she had some neck pain. We've taken her to the Royal Brisbane Hospital in a stable condition.
Police have allegedly caught a woman driving with a blood alcohol level more than 3 times the legal limit, with a 6-month-old baby in the car on the mid-north coast of New South Wales. She allegedly returned a breath analysis of 0.171 and has been charged with high-range drink driving. To sport, in cricket, Australia has claimed a consolation victory against South Africa, winning the 3rd test at Adelaide Oval by 7 wickets. Debutant Peter Handscomb hit the winning run as Australia reached a score of 3 for 127. Fellow debutant Matt Renshaw was unbeaten on 34. Usman Khawaja was named man of the match after scoring 145 in the first innings and says his side now has to ready itself for another 3 tests against Pakistan.
Coming up against new opposition, against Pakistan, they'll have different bowlers, they'll have different tactics, we'll play on different grounds. So we've got to figure out a way to obviously do well in that series and do what we've done here for the remainder of 3 games that we have.
In rugby union, Wallabies coach Michael Cheika has demanded a meeting with World Rugby referees' bosses following Australia's loss to Ireland in Dublin. Australia managed a stirring second-half comeback but still went down 27 points to 24. It ends the Wallabies' Grand Slam hopes and 3-game test winning streak. Cheika has blamed poor refereeing, saying a 13-3 penalty count went against his side.
That's something I'll be dealing with Alan Lalonde about afterwards. He's a referee's boss, so I'll go through the proper channels as opposed to making it an issue out here and see if we can get something, but I doubt it.
To the weather around the country for Monday now. Brisbane mostly sunny 29, Sydney a possible shower 27, Canberra sunny 28, Melbourne 21, Hobart a possible late shower and 20, Adelaide mostly sunny 29, Perth sunny and 29 and Darwin 33. ABC News.